Chalk Talk right now. I want to talk to you about a program that is close to my heart, Ventures program at the Fenway High School in Boston. What it does is it helps prepare 11th and 12th graders for the real world. And when I say the real world that could involve innovation and entrepreneurship. It actually has classes on entrepreneurship. It teaches students in high school to write business plans, something I've always thought is an interesting idea, not absent other things that students should be learning. You know that on Chalk Talk we're very, very concerned about science and mathematics and all these other things. But there's a mentoring component to this. There are on-site job shadowing programs for students. There are full-time internships in the senior year. Amy Carrier is the director of the program. She joins me now from Brookline, Massachusetts. Amy, thanks for being with us. This is one important component as we talk about an economy that requires students to have better skills on so many levels. We've forgotten what's happened in the last 3 years and how this economy was nearly torn apart, in large part because we as consumers, we as citizens, didn't have the background to understand how we fit into the economy. I've always thought that economics and business should play a bigger part and be taught in a better way at a younger age, and this is what you're doing.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Allie, thank you for having me, and I'm touched that you said this is near and dear to your heart. This is so close to my heart. Yeah, students are required to actually take this class prior to graduation, which is fantastic. They learn financial literacy. They understand the bigger picture of what's happening in the economy and in the bigger world. Part
of the problem is that some people, and it's the same problem we have with science and math, a lot of people don't think of it as sexy. They think of it as dry. They think of it as complicated. You seem to have a very practical approach to getting these students involved in entrepreneurship and innovation.
Absolutely. Well, the great thing is, if you ask a kid what they care about, they're going to tell you. And you can turn anything into a business. When you empower students to take their ideas, you give them some tips about you need to find prices for how much it's going to cost you to purchase the items you're going to need to open your store. Then you're going to have to figure out how much it's going to cost you to operate on an ongoing basis, how much you can bring in the future. These are not complex concepts for students. And they get really close to seeing that their ideas, their passion, can be real, which is a huge investment in the students and a huge investment in our future.
What do you do? What are the components? We talked about some of them, but what do these students really react to that might make them think that they can be active participants in a growing economy from a business perspective when they graduate?
Well, the number one thing is just telling a student that their ideas matter, that their passion matters, and that they have a place in the world. And that's underscored by so many different things, asking them, bringing mentors into the classroom to help contribute to their learning, to reinforce that the bigger community really does care, and then getting them out of the classroom and sending them into the workplace, into the business that they're interested in, and showing them what it's actually like there. Their whole world is not just the classroom.
There's a student, a former student, who's planning to start his own business, I understand, based on a business plan that was developed in the Ventures program.
Yeah, it was great. When he graduated his freshman year, he contacted me and he said, you know, can I really do this? Can I take my business plan? The students write legitimate 40, 45-page business plans with budget projections, marketing plans, staffing plans, executive summaries. And he said, how do I do this? And I said, you know, I think the first thing you need to do, because you've already figured out that you want to run a restaurant, an international food restaurant, study that in school and get permission from your teammates to actually run with this. And he did. He got written permission from his classmates, his 11th grade classmates.
Great.
And this year he's a senior in college.
What a fantastic thing. All right, well, listen, thanks for doing that, Amy. We appreciate that. We think this is just one of these ideas that we can put out there and people can get a good, broad education that'll equip them better for the downturns that we have in the economy. Amy Carrier is the director of the Ventures program at Fenway High School in Boston.